Good evening and thank you for joining us. The sudden disappearance of a Thunder Bay man has led his family and several volunteers to conduct their own search this afternoon. 51-year-old Brooke Shaboye was last heard from by family members on February 4th by phone. His family says that while he has long battled mental illness, he has always kept in close contact, and they say his behavior is very unlike him. A search was organized at George Burke Park by family members and several others. The search was led by Shaboye's sister Lori, who says their efforts won't stop here. Good evening and thank you for joining us. City Council's final scheduled budget meeting is now underway at City Hall.
Council members are expected to approve the final document in principle tonight before ratification next week.
The frigid temperatures and blowing snow are causing black ice on roads and highways around the city, and that may have been a factor in a scary collision this morning. The crash happened at around 9:30 at the corner of West Arthur Street and Twin City Crossroads. A pickup truck collided with an SUV, and then the two vehicles slid off the road and slammed into a hydro pole. That brought down a number of power lines, including parts of the flashing caution light that hangs above the intersection. Smaller vehicles were able to travel through the accident area under the light, but taller vehicles, such as transport trucks, were rerouted onto Twin City. OPP say there were no serious injuries. The driver of the pickup truck has been charged with failing to yield. Premier Doug Ford isn't guaranteeing that full-day kindergarten will continue beyond the next school year. The program was introduced by former Liberal Premier Dalton McGuinty and was fully rolled out in 2014. But now it may fall by the wayside as the government looks for cost savings. Colin DeMello reports.
Good evening and thank you for being with us. Newly appointed police board member Georgianne Morrisseau says she's ready to hit the ground running and help address systemic racism within the force.
Morrisseau served as chief of the Fort William First Nation from 2013 to 2015 and now works for Resolute Forest Products. She says her first order of business will be outreach in the community. Alana Pickrell reports. Ontario New Democrats released more documents today that they claim prove the Ford government is planning to privatize healthcare in Ontario. Horvath listed a number of services that will be handed to the private sector, plans that she says will result in two-tiered healthcare for the province's residents.
They're going to privatize laboratories, they're going to privatize licensing.
A 38-year-old woman is dead following a highway collision in Kenora yesterday afternoon. OPP say it happened at around 2:30 at the Highway 596 junction of the Trans-Canada Highway. A car, a transport, and a pickup truck were involved. The female driver of the car was pronounced dead at the scene. Her identity has not yet been released. The driver of the pickup suffered minor injuries, while the driver of the rig was not hurt. The highway was shut down for about 15 hours, and the investigation is ongoing. The RCMP has filed charges against more than a dozen people accused of taking part in a multi-million-dollar money laundering scheme. Police say they traced the money trail from drug sales in Montreal through the Middle East. Rob Lurie has the details. 4 months after barring the U.S. government from purchasing Huawei technology, new reports suggest the White House is mulling over an executive order to expand the ban to all U.S. companies. Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more on what this means for Huawei and for Canada. In the U.S., this is day 7 of the partial government shutdown, and President Donald Trump is now threatening to shut down the entire U.S.-Mexico border if lawmakers don't fund his border wall. And the White House is blasting the Democrats, saying negotiations have broken down. Kenneth Moten has the latest. It was a busy year for news in Thunder Bay, with 2 major elections, 2 healthcare strikes, and several high-profile criminal cases at the city courthouse. Stay with us as over the next hour, we recap the top stories of 2018. And what other controversies and breaking news stories will Thunder Bay see as we head into 2019? Well, you'll have to tune into TBT NewsHour to find out. Thank you for joining us for this recap of 2018's top stories. I'm Nima Rajan, wishing you all the best in the new year. Hi, I'm Nima Rajan, and welcome to Northwest Newsweek. Dryden residents found out on Wednesday just how much it would cost to switch from their municipal police force to the OPP. The price tag sits at just over $5.4 million in the first year of their 3-year contract, which would then fall out to $4.7 million per year. And as Adam Riley reports, that's close to $1.5 million more than the current budget for the Dryden Police Service. Well, Shane, snow was in the air this Valentine's Day, but it looks like we won't be seeing much of that white stuff this weekend.
Yep, this weekend.
Now, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like Mother Nature is giving us a break finally. Let's take a look at the conditions across the country first. To the west in Vancouver, at this hour, they are sitting at -2 degrees, a bit of snowfall in that area. Prince George, pretty cold there, -23 at this hour. Edmonton, -22 under partially cloudy skies, and Calgary, -23. If we head on over to Saskatoon, -23 in Saskatoon under cloudy skies. Regina, sitting at -18. Let's take a look at our extended forecast now. Look at those mild conditions. Cloudy on Tuesday, a high of -6 and a low of -14. Wednesday, mainly cloudy, a high of -5 and a low of -11. And a lot of sun after that. Thursday, sunny, high of -5, a low of -16. Sunny on Friday, -8 and a low of -19. And Saturday, -8 with a low of -17. So it looks like this week we're going to be getting seasonal conditions, which is quite refreshing after that cold front we've been dealing with.
Yeah, not only the cold, but after the week of cold, we got that week of snow too.
Good evening, I'm Nima Rajan, and welcome to Headline News. Major upheaval in Ottawa as Veterans Affairs Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould resigns from cabinet. The move comes in the wake of allegations that the Prime Minister's office pressured her during her time as Canada's Attorney General to help SNC Lavalin avoid criminal prosecution. Robin Gill reports.
Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada.
The RCMP is cracking down on international money laundering, charging more than a dozen people connected to organized crime.
We believe that this network was occupying a primary place in the money laundering world in Montreal.
The network allegedly used connections in Iran and Dubai to funnel cash into drug exporting through Colombia and Mexico. More than 300 officers took part in the raids carried out in Toronto and Montreal. The operation, dubbed Project Collector, seized drugs, cash, and property valued at more than $32 million. There are still 3 suspects being sought by police in connection to the case. Jurors have handed down a verdict on the trial of one of the most notorious drug lords. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman has been found guilty on all counts. As Abigail Beeman reports, this means Guzman could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Norwest Community Health Centers have partnered with local family health clinics to launch Team Care. It's a new interprofessional healthcare collaboration that is designed to improve their healthcare services. The program is in partnership with Thunder Bay Family Health Organization, Port Arthur Health Center, and Superior Family Health Organization, and is the first to offer interdisciplinary health services at local family health clinics. Dr. Allison says he hopes Team Care will expand to other clinics within the community. Lawson says she wants the program to encourage patients to take advantage of the many other services provided by Norwest for the community. Nima Rajan, TBT News.